Hey guys, welcome back. We are going to go ahead and go through the business credit ebook. Now, once we have everything set up, that letter, make copies of that letter, scan that letter, put it onto your computer, because every time you open up a business bank account, you're going to need that letter. Most of the time when you open up a business bank account, you're going to need the letter from the IRS. You're going to need the articles of incorporation. You might need a certificate of good standing. It just depends. The bank will let you know if there's any additional information that you're going to need. Of course, you're going to need your photo ID and things of that nature. So they'll let you know. And typically it's just a tax ID letter and the articles and possibly a certificate of good standing. Funding accelerator tool. So this is the tool that I was telling you about, and you can click on it right here. This is just a spreadsheet that I put together in Google. It's on the Google Drive, and it is like a spreadsheet to help you keep organized. You can use something like this, or you can use like a Trello board if you're familiar on how to use Trello. I recommend, of course, documenting everything, whether it's in this sheet or on a Trello board, because you want to make sure that you stay super organized. There's still going to be so many different accounts, so many different things going on, so many, things that you're listed with. You really want to document the process and make sure that you have, how you did it, what your login is, what website you went to, so on and so forth, right? Now, once we have everything set up, now we are able to start opening up accounts, right? One of the first accounts that we should open is NAV. And NAV is going to be a great trade line because it reports to all three of the major credit business monitoring companies, Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax. And it is like $49 a month, and it is considered like a business trade line. It is considered business credit monitoring, but when you look at your reports, you're not really going to be able to see your entire report. So it's kind of frustrating, but it is going to give you an idea of where you're at and like how many trade lines you have, what you need to work on. If your business credit scores are low, it just means that you need to add more positive business trade lines. You need to establish more relationships and have more trade lines reported, so that way we can see your ability to repay back debt as a grade, right? That's what you need to show on your business credits trade lines, is paid on time, paid on time, paid on time. They're not going to be worried about you. You're not going to be high risk if you have 10, 15 different trade lines on your business credit report that report paid on time, okay? So just keep that in mind. Once you have at least 3 business trade lines reported to Dun & Bradstreet, that will generate your Paydex score of at least 80, because that's all that they're looking for, is 3 vendors that reported an on-time payment, okay? Business bank account. You want to open a business bank account as soon as you can. Start making deposits in there regularly. If you can open up a business bank account with the most amount of money that you can, that would be great, because you can always transfer it out and move money around. But you definitely want to get some business bank accounts, because the business bank accounts have the best credit cards. They have 0% interest for X amount of months. They have really great business credit products. Of course, most major banks will require a personal guarantee, but if you have good credit, which at this point I hope you are either working on your credit or already have decent credit of at least 680, preferably 720 or higher, that's really the goal. And if you don't, schedule a call with me so we can go over it, because you really need to be able to leverage your personal credit in order to get to the better business credit lines and funding and lines of credit and credit cards. So the vendor accounts are great, but they only go so far, and a lot of the accounts that don't require a PG are typically not going to be pay over time options. It's going to be pay within 30 days or pay within the term of which they approved you for. So you have to understand your terms. Some are net 7, net 15, net 30, net 60, net 90. Understand what terms you are when you get approved, so know when you need to pay your invoice, because especially if some of you guys are signing up for commercial accounts with UPS, FedEx, DHL, some of them will approve people for like net 7, net 15, net 14. So understand your payment terms, and some even gas cards will approve people for net 7, net 1, which is like, okay, I guess one day, but hey, it's a commercial account, right? So just understand, the concept here. We want to set up our foundation, and then we want to start establishing business banking relationships, as many as you can, okay? And as many credit unions as possible. Navy Fed is great. I like Bank of America. I like Chase. There's a ton of places out there, okay? Don't get too hung up on the major, corporational banks that you see on your every corner. Do a Google search. See if there's a local credit union that specializes in business or commercial banking, and see if they specialize in providing no-doc loans, because that's essentially what we're looking for. We're looking to obtain lines of credit, credit cards, and credit products that will not require any sort of documentation. No P&L statement, no tax returns, no nothing. And that's what a lot of this business credit from credit cards is going to be. No doc loans. They're not going to require any documentation. So that's why I'm a huge advocate of business credit cards, because you can get business credit cards with no interest for 12 to 24 months in some cases, which is going to allow you to really leverage your credit to buy what you need to buy, pay it over time, and not have to pay any interest. And it doesn't report to your personal credit. I mean, that is so powerful, so powerful, right? So let's talk about some of the best practices, okay? Open accounts with lenders who offer 0% business credit cards and low documentation lines of credit and term loans. So we kind of just went over that, and that's exactly what you look for. Look for the accounts that offer the business credit cards with like 0% interest for 12 months, 0% interest for 24 months, and apply with them so you can leverage those cards and put your spend on those cards. Establish a bank rating by spreading your funds throughout various lenders. So again, try to use the same $10,000 or same money that you're using to open up these bank accounts, and just recycle it. I opened this account with $10,000. Now I'm going to open up another account with $10,000, and I'm going to open up 3 or 4 different accounts with the same $10,000. I'm just recycling that money. And then you can recycle that money again by putting it into some sort of secured loan with a bank. So you develop a relationship with them, like Navy Federal does a secured loan, PenFed does a secured loan. Any sort of federal credit union that does a secured loan, do it with them, because it's going to help strengthen your relationship with them, so they'll give you better funding options, okay? Apply with local credit unions. So you can search this credit union tool right here. You can go onto Google. You can really do your own research and your due diligence based on the area that you're in. Because I'm in California, so what we have out here might not be the same as you have out there. And a lot of local banks want to invest in their community. They want to help local small businesses thrive. So they're going to give you the funding, and they're going to have special products that you can leverage. So it's really exciting to be able to, be a part of your community, get in with a good community or credit union that's local to you, so that way they can invest in you, okay? You can call them, you can ask them what they offer. Do they offer any business checking account? Can I apply online, or do I have to come in? What business credit products do they have? Do they have lines of credit? If so, what are the documentation required for that? Do they have credit cards? If so, what is the documentation required to apply for those? Do they have loans? If so, what type of loans do they offer for commercial, and what type of documentation do you need in order to apply for those? Okay, those are the questions. National and regional bank search. This is another search. And then of course, community bank search. So there's a ton of different types of banks out there. You just really want to leverage what's best for your area, and those are some tools to help you. So here's a client who just turned 21. They got a $40,000 credit card, 0% interest for 12 months, no doc loan on a brand new business when applying at a local state credit union. Okay, $40,000, 0% interest. So they can leave a balance. They're not going to have to pay any interest for 12 months. No documents required. 21 years old, new business. How did they get this? They did a personal guarantee. Okay, it's all based on your personal credit when it comes to these type of credit cards. Okay, this was a BBVA account, and obviously things are always changing. So of course, you can apply with pretty much any bank out there. Chase has good offers. American Express is always having good offers, but again, you want to make sure that your personal credit is intact before you apply. Okay. You can also Google the SBA lenders list by state, and they'll give you a list of SBA loans or SBA lenders that will offer loans in your state. You can also go to our website, creditcoachpros.com, and you apply for business funding directly with us. We offer business funding programs that start off at a 680 credit score, and we also offer personal loans on our website as well. And we use a lot of fintech companies, so we get more approvals. And I also have another funding source on my personal side as well. So if you go to my Linktree or to my creditcoachpros.com website, you'll be able to apply for business funding with one of our programs. We have over 8 programs right now, and there's a ton of lenders that we've recently added to our platforms to get better approvals. Okay, so when you find the most generous banks for loans and lines of credit and credit cards in your bank, in your state, in your area, sometimes they're not going to be in your area, but you can still apply over the phone. Okay, so do that. You're going to need your articles of formation, your EIN letter from the IRS that's going to have your tax ID number on it, state ID or driver's license, and probably either 50 or $100 for the initial deposit. That's really the bare minimum that you're going to need. You don't need a big deposit. A lot of them just have a minimum of like 50 or $100, so you can just do that. So I highly recommend credit unions and who have 0% business credit cards for a certain amount of months, 12 months, 24 months, anything like that. And US Bank, as their business credit card, it has 0% interest for like 20 months. So it has a good business credit card at US Bank. Submit 3 applications with banks for checking and savings account to start building your relationship. Who have credit products, of course, that you would be interested in. Next, you're going to need to request your Dun & Bradstreet number. You do not have to pay for anything. This is free, and you do not need to have your Dun & Bradstreet number when you apply for a business bank account. The only thing that you really need Dun & Bradstreet for is to apply for the business vendors. Net 30, any sort of business credit, you would want to have your Dun & Bradstreet number, so that way you can provide that number with them. Okay, and you will need to register sometimes they'll already have you registered, but if you need to register, this is going to be the link right here. So you're just going to click on that, and it's going to take you to go ahead and request to get a DUNS number. And these are the instructions that you're going to need to do to go ahead and request your DUNS number, and it is free. You don't need to pay Dun & Bradstreet for anything at this point because it's just not necessary. However, what you do want to do is register for a free account with them, so that way you can update all of your business information with their business manager. You want to just make sure that your business information is listed accurately, the name, the address, your website. You want to make sure that your SIC code is registered with them properly. You also want to make sure that the number of employees that you have is listed properly. If you have people that help you with your business, those would be considered employees. They might be children, they might be family members. Obviously, when you have more than one employee, it makes your business a little bit stronger. So some people might want to list 12, 15 employees to just be on the safe side and say, hey, look, I've got all these people that are helping me. I might not be able to pay them right now, but that doesn't mean that they're not pretty much like an employee, because an employee is like pretty much that anyone that's helping with your business. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to pay them, right? So you just want to kind of be unique in that fashion. And I'm not saying lie, but I'm just saying, be realistic, because obviously having more than one employee is going to make your business a little bit stronger, okay? How business credit scores and reports work. So I'm not going to be going over all of this information because I really want you guys to read through this, because this is a lot. But the basics to determining your business credit scores are, the number one thing is your payment history. You want to make sure that you pay all of the bills on time. Also, the age of your credit history. So if you're a brand new business, obviously it's going to be a higher risk because you are a new business. So you want to make sure that you have at least 2 years in business in order for you to be considered not so high risk. Some places might even deny you for business credit if you've been in business for less than 2 years. The longer you've been in business, obviously, the more reliable you are as a business. Debt and debt usage, industry risk, and company size. I just kind of went over that with the number of employees that you have. So that is your company size. And again, that is considered one of the things that they look at. So just be reasonable. I wouldn't overshoot it, because sometimes they audit people and you don't want to be like, oh, I've got 150 employees when it's really just like 20 of you guys. So just be realistic. But those are the main factors when it comes to determining your business credit. The main thing that you need to be worried about is paying all of your business credit bills early. As soon as you get the invoice for these net 30 accounts, especially when you're just starting out to build business credit with them, pay them almost immediately. A lot of these you cannot set up auto pay. So you want to really make sure that you're paying all of your business credit bills and accounts on time as agreed. Pay them early. Make sure that you never pay late, okay? I always recommend pay at least 10 days prior to the due date. But again, when you're first starting out, you want to get into the habit of paying almost immediately. Here are the different score ranges from Dun & Bradstreet, which is your Paydex score, Experian, which is in your IntelliScore, your business delinquency risk score, which is by Equifax, and of course the FICO liquid credit, which is the small business scoring service. So these are the different scoring models, and this is just going to break down all of those different scoring models so that way you can better understand your business credit. The main thing when it comes to building business credit is making sure that you have all of the trade lines listed on your credit profile. You want to make sure that you're using places like 𝓕𝓏𝓼𝓲𝓷, which is going to report. You can link up to 8 eligible accounts like power, water, gas, mobile phone, cable TV, satellite TV, internet, landline phone, all to your 𝓕𝓏𝓼𝓲 credit profile. So you want to be using all of these different types of accounts to help you build up and strengthen your business credit profile. Use what you already have and make it work for you, okay? Divvy is another one. I don't like it when, people make everyone say, oh, well, buy this, buy that, buy that. No, we want to buy things that are related to our business that we can actually use, things that we're already spending money on. We're just going to reorganize it all. So we're not, building business credit just to buy a bunch of crap that's going to do nothing for us. We want to be creative, buy things that we have a use for, buy things that we would need in our business. Wherever those supplies are sold, where they offer some sort of vendor account and they report to the business credit bureaus, buy it from them, okay? So Divvy is a corporate charge card, and it reports to Dun & Bradstreet every month. It is a soft pull, and that means that you can actually buy things that you need for your business and even send EFTs and checks with Divvy. Divvy is completely free and has a platform to track you and all of your employee spending for free. So you can actually apply with Divvy right here, and I highly recommend 𝓕𝓐. They were actually one of the first credit cards that gave me a corporate credit card when I first started building business credit. So definitely want to be using them. This is NAV. So if you do want to apply to get NAV, which I highly recommend because they report to all three, definitely sign up right here. 5-star processing, you're not really going to need that anymore because all of their business credit cards are pretty much done with like everything that's already on here. I don't believe 5-star no longer offers another business credit program, but you can ask them. But I believe they're just offering 𝓕𝓐 at this point. They are a merchant processor, but they are fairly expensive. So if you're not a high risk merchant, you really don't, you can use Square, you can use Stripe. And in this course, I give you a list of merchant accounts that you can use. It's really just up to your business. So again, 𝓕𝓐 is a corporate charge card. So that means anytime you see the word charge card versus credit card, it means that you can charge it, but you're going to need to pay it within 30 days. So 𝓕𝓐 is very similar to a net30. American Express used to be charge cards. A lot of them, a lot of American Express cards are charge cards, but now American Express is now offering the pay over time feature. So they will approve you for, certain amount to pay over time, and they will send that to you in the mail once they approve the card. But 𝓕𝓐 is a charge card, meaning you will need to pay the entire balance in full within 30 days. It will be linked to your bank account, so they will be taking that money out automatically. And I have worked with people who did not realize that 𝓕𝓐 was a charge card. They literally took all the money out of their bank account. They thought it was a regular credit card that you can pay over time, and it's not. So again, understanding your terms with all of these vendors, whether you're a net30, net60, whether this is a charge card or a revolving pay over time account, you need to understand that, because like Staples and Office Depot, you want to make sure if you get an account with them, is this a credit card or is this a net30 account where I have to pay it within 30 days? There's different accounts that you can get, but you want to understand exactly what terms you actually got approved for. 𝗕𝓐 is good. It's a soft pull. It requires a 650 credit score. Reports to Dun & Bradstreet. Again, you have to pay it in full monthly, so it's kind of like a net30. What else do we have here? We have Uline. I love Uline. So if you need like packing supplies, shipping supplies, paper supplies, any sort of supply, cleaning supplies, buy them from business credit vendors. Even if it's for your personal use, open up an account with Uline, pay it off. They report to Dun & Bradstreet. There's also Crown Office Supply, Strategic Network, Summa Office Supply. And I use all of these places to build business credit. Grainger, these are all considered net30 accounts or vendor accounts, tier 1 accounts. So you'll hear us say, like us, when I say like people that talk about credit, we're always we might say a different name, but a lot of it means the same. So net30 is going to be typically the same as like a vendor account, because a lot of vendor accounts offer net30 terms, right? So vendor accounts, net30 accounts pretty much means the same thing. And a lot of these accounts are considered tier 1 for the business credit. So they're going to be listed under like the first tier of you just starting to build your business credit. So tier 1 net30 vendor accounts, that's like pretty much what they are. But sometimes we'll shorten it and say net30 accounts or vendor accounts, right? But it's like means the same thing. Just wanted to clear that up. Most of you probably are like, oh, I get it. More you guys hear the lingo, the more you'll understand it. And that's why I said, listen to this information, replay it as much as you need to. Grainger is another supply place that you can get things from. Quill, office supply. So sometimes Quill can be, kind of finicky. They want you to place an order with them, pay it off before they extend credit. But I've actually included my full list of trade lines right here for you guys. So you can open this up, and I add to this list as time progresses. But there's a ton of different places that are like tier 1 and tier 2 vendors that you can start establishing a commercial corporate account with. And place an order with them. Once your order is placed, you need to pay your order, and then they would report your payment to the business credit bureaus. So once you open up the account, it's not like personal accounts. Like when you open the account, it reports whether you use the account or not. With these vendor accounts, you need to open the account, get approved, and then actually place an order and pay for that order in order for that trade line or that trade experience or that payment. A lot of times Dun & Bradstreet will call it a payment experience. In order for that payment experience to be reported to the business credit bureaus, you would need to actually pay it and of course place your order and go through that whole process. It's not like they're just going to report the account as a trade line. No, you need to buy something, pay for it, and they'll report that payment experience to the business credit bureaus that they report to. And again, these vendors often update, they change things. So at the time of this video, I try to give you the latest and greatest updated information, but always verify with the vendor who they will be reporting your trade experience or your payment experience to. What business bureaus do they report to? That's the simple thing. Hey, what business credit bureaus do you guys report to? Who are you guys going to be reporting my business credit trade payments to? Those are two ways that you can ask them, okay? So I just want to keep pounding that into you guys' mind, because eventually you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to get it. Because I know it's a lot of information and it's all crammed into this. And that's why I'm doing this video, to go over this with you guys, because I know it's a lot of information. So again, once you have 3 accounts or trade payments and you've made 3 payments, then you can go ahead and generate your Paydex score with Dun & Bradstreet, which will be at least an 80. Okay. You can also check NAV. That's going to give you your Paydex scores, and NAV you can sign up for right here. You can actually sign up for 2 NAV accounts if you wanted to. You just have to sign up under a different email, and I recommend doing it slightly different, like 2 weeks apart from each other, using a different email address, and that would be considered 2 different trade lines. So you can leverage that as well. What else here? Store cards. This is pretty important. There's a lot of store cards that you can qualify for with no PG that are evolving. Sam's Club is going to be your most popular. You would need a Sam's Club membership. You would need to apply in store. You would need to have an online presence. Make sure that your business foundation is established, of course, before you apply for anyone. And then you can apply for some of these places. Now, some of these corporate accounts with Walmart, Office Depot, Home Depot, Lowe's, Dell, Best Buy, Costco, 7-Eleven, Sam's Club, and BJ will require a PG if you have not been in business for a few years. They are all different as far as their requirements. The requirements often do change, but they want people to be in business for at least 2 years without a PG. If you've been in business for less time, they might require a PG. But just tell them, hey, I do not want to put my personal social security number on the application. I want to do this under my business name only. That's what you need to tell them at Sam's Club. I want to apply for a corporate Sam's Club card, but I want to apply under my business name only. I do not want to use my personal credit, and they will give you the application. Again, it's in store, okay? But you can try these other stores. A lot of them nowadays will require a PG. Sometimes it's hard to go around it, especially if you're a brand new business. But it all depends on your business, and they will tell you whether or not you're going to be required to provide a PG or not. This is the 6-figure credit card strategy. Of course, you need to have at least a 680 credit score. Okay, at least a 680 credit score, at least 2 or more accounts reporting to your credit. Those 2 accounts should be credit cards. At least $5,000 in total credit limits reported. Less than 3 inquiries in the last 12 months. 4 is okay as well. At least a 2-year minimum card age, credit age or credit card age. Less than a 50% utilization per account, okay? And that's on your credit cards. I would recommend lower than that, probably like 15% or lower if possible. No derogatories, no collections, no late payments, And of course, if you have some late payments and they were during COVID, that's kind of understandable because a lot of people got affected by COVID and had late payments, but you don't want to have any late payments like within the last 6 to 12 months, okay? Now we're finally ready to apply for business credit cards. So you definitely want to increase the amount that you can possibly get, and establishing a good banking rating is going to help influence their decision, especially like with Navy Federal. So just kind of understand that you developing relationships with banks is going to be really important. So let's talk about the different steps here. Step one, you want to set up your credit monitoring for your personal side, so that way you can know where you're at personal score-wise. I recommend the 𝓖𝓐𝑜 app. You can always get like Credit Karma, but it's not going to be the accurate credit score. It's just an idea of where your data points are. If you want to know your true FICO scores, you're going to need to use the 𝓖𝓐𝑜 app. That's going to give you your actual FICO scores. This is actually going to be what the banks look at. And there are different FICO score variations. There's FICO 8 and FICO 9, which are going to be your most common FICO scoring models. But there are several other FICO scoring models that are out there. So you just want to be mindful that every time you look at your credit score, it might be different based on who you're looking at it with, right? If I look at Credit Karma, they're going to be providing me with a Vantage 3.0 scoring model. But if I look at Capital One, they might be providing me with a FICO 8 score from Experian. So you always want to understand, when is this credit report as of the date? Is it as of today, or is it as of 30 days ago? Who is this credit report from? Is it from TransUnion, Experian, or Equifax? Because it's going to be from one credit bureau, right? And then number 3 is, what scoring model are they using? Is this calculated using a Vantage 3.0 scoring model?